Hi everyone, my name is Federico Tartarini and in this video I just want to show you how you can compile a LaTeX document inside PyCharm. I think this is an extremely useful feature that there is in PyCharm and can be enabled using a plugin called TeXiFy. So you will have to install the plugin and you will have to install a couple of different things, but I will take you through all the steps. So I will show you what we can get right now. Then I will go on and uninstall everything on my computer and I will install everything again to show you step by step how you can install TeXiFy inside IntelliJ, so IntelliJ PyCharm, and then eventually you can compile document directly inside PyCharm. This I think is amazing because if you are like me, that you write Python code, or even if you write R code, you can have all in one directory the source code for your data analysis, as well as all the source code for your document. So you will not need to use two tools like TeXmaker. In addition, you will be able to navigate through all the files, so both the LaTeX file as well as the Python file, using the shortcuts of PyCharm, which I think again is extremely helpful because once you get used to them, then you can quickly navigate and you can be much more efficient. So let me show you first which are the capabilities of this tool, and then I will show you how to install it step by step, how to enable Git. I will show you a couple of tricks, and I will show you how to set up a new project. I will show you everything step by step. Okay, you can navigate through the timeline underneath the video. So if you want to skip a section, because let's say that you have already installed something, so you can skip via the timeline. Otherwise, just follow along with me and I will show you all the things that needs to be done. Okay. First thing first, I want to show you what is going to be the output. So this is our document. The LaTeX document is inside main.tex, is actually including three different sections, which are introduction, methodology, and results. And these are the results that we are getting here on the right, the PDF which is compiled. So let me run it with Shift F10, and we can run and we can obtain our document, and we can get our document here on the right. So this is our document. Why is so useful? Well, let me show you very quickly. So inside my project directory here, which there is code, data, and manuscript, this is how I've organized it. Of course, you can organize it in a different way. So I have my code, which is my Python code, okay? And this inside manuscript source, there is my LaTeX code and source files. If you want to know more about how I've structured this directory, I would suggest you to look at my other video on YouTube, in which I go and explain exactly in detail about this directory. Okay, and in particular, I'm explaining it when I'm talking about using a Elsevier template for LaTeX. Okay, how to write an Elsevier paper using the Elsevier template. Okay, so we'll put a link down in the description. However, don't you can follow along even if you don't want to use the Elsevier template. You can simply use a normal document class. But let me show you step by step. First, I want to show you why it's so powerful to have both the Python code and the LaTeX in one directory. So let's say that here I have my Python code, for example, and I call it actually example.py. This is my Python function, and I'm generating actually this plot here. Okay, let's say I change the data or something changes in my research, and I want to change the data. Okay, and I want to recreate this plot. So let's say that this point, instead of being 2, we want it to be 8. Okay, I can do Control A or Control Shift F10. So let's do Control Shift F10. I'm running, sorry, not in this directory. So I can select everything, Control A, and then I do Shift Alt E. So I'm just running this line of code. And as you can see inside here, I'm saving the figure in this directory. Okay, where is this directory where I'm saving the figure? Manuscript, source, and figures. Okay, and this is my figure example. So as you can see, the figure has updated. Okay, now by clicking here at the top, okay, I can select unnamed. Actually, I will show you how to change this name here later on. We are going to change it like to call main document. Don't worry, I haven't shown you exactly how to do it right now. I will just show you to do later again. Then we can compile this file either pressing here on the green arrow or pressing Shift F10. And now we have our chart here updated on the right on our computer. So we can work on the Python code or on the R code, and at the same time we can work on the manuscript. Okay, let's go and say that I want to change a file in the introduction. So I press double shift, or I can navigate into my project directory. So sections, introduction, here we are. So double shift, introduction. I go and change this file, and instead of example, I want to say this great example. Press Shift F10, I'm compiling the file again, and now I've changed also the LaTeX code. So I can work at the same time from the same IDE, both on the LaTeX source, on the LaTeX file, as well as on the Python code. Okay, so without leaving this IDE, I can work on both files. Okay, there is a little bit of setup, and I will take you through all the steps that we need to do. Okay, we will need to install, I'm going to be on Windows, okay, instruction on Microsoft, on Mac, sorry, are a little bit different, but you can find more information here on the TeXiFy idea of GitHub. I will try to put a link in the description about this as well, and you can see instruction for Windows, Linux, and Mac. Okay, so you can always check this page if you want to find out more or if something is not working. So I will explain how to go through the installation on Windows, and we will need three things. First is PyCharm. Okay, second thing that we're going to need is Sumatra PDF, which is this software here that I'm using to open the PDF, and finally we're going to use LaTeX compiler. Okay. Last thing that I want to show you, because I mentioned about the Elsevier template, so let me uncomment that line. Let's use the normal article document class. Let's compile the file again, and as you can see, it doesn't matter. You can also use the normal document class. You don't have to use the Elsevier template. Okay, and of course everything is working. We have citation, we have bibliography, everything. Okay, everything is synced, and everything is working smoothly. Okay. So let me just pause for a second the video. I will uninstall this plugin, TeXiFy. I will install Sumatra PDF, and then I will get back to here, and I will just show you step by step how to install them on your computer. Here I am again. So I've uninstalled TeXiFy. I've installed Sumatra PDF. I've uninstalled MiKTeX. As you can see here on PyCharm, now is not recognizing any longer the text file, so it cannot anymore compile the LaTeX document. Okay, but let's go step by step. I will not show you in this tutorial how to install PyCharm, because I'm assuming that you have already PyCharm installed. If you don't, just please go on, just Google PyCharm, and you can install the community edition. Okay, so you can click here, and then you can download here the free community edition. So you can community edition download is for free. If you're a student, or if you're an educator, you can also install the professional edition for free. Otherwise, you can use the free trial. But the community edition has everything that you need, so don't worry too much. Just download this one and install this one if you want to. Okay. The other things that we need to install is Sumatra PDF. So we search on Google, download Sumatra PDF. We get the installer. I'm on a 64-bit computer, so I just click on this one. I'm going to download the executable file. Double click. I'm going to install it. Thank you for choosing. Install Sumatra PDF. And Sumatra PDF has been installed. Just click on Start, and here we can see all the document. We can see that it's actually working. Okay, we can close this tab. The other thing that we need to install is MiKTeX download. I'm again on Windows, so I'm going to get the installer. So I'm going to download it here on my computer, again in the download folder. It's going to take just a few seconds. I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to start the recording again once it's downloaded. Okay, I now downloaded on my computer, so I can just click here on what I was downloading. So accept, next, install it only for me or for all the users. Is up to you. You can choose. I will just install it for me, and you can specify the path where you're going to install it. Next, prefer paper size A4. Fine. Install missing packages on the fly. I would say yes. So every time you add a new package that is not installed, a LaTeX package, for instance, to do notes or to add acronyms or glossaries, is going to install all the packages automatically. I think it's very handy, so let's select yes, and then we can press start. It's going to install it, and once it's going to be done, I'm going to pause the video right now, and I'm going to be back when it's done the installation. Okay, it's now installed on my computer, so we can press next, check for update, next, and that's it. Here, not tell me more. Close, and now MiKTeX should be installed on your computer. So if you click here in search tab, okay, it's just checking for updates. So let's check for updates and make sure that everything is fine, but it should be all right. In the meantime, while it's checking for updates, we can close this tab here, and we can go back here in PyCharm, Ctrl-Alt-S, okay, opens the settings. We can type here plugin, okay, plugins, here we are, and we look for TeXiFy, okay, is not installed on my PyCharm, search in marketplace, TeXiFy idea, install, is installing on my computer. So, okay, now it has been installed. We might have to restart. So we press OK, we might have to restart PyCharm. So actually, let's do that just to make sure that everything is fine. In the meantime, we have checked for updates. You can now check for packages updates. Okay. So yeah, this also should be fine. No. So okay, so there are updates available, which is very strange because we just downloaded, but technically it should be fine. Okay, so let's just close this one, and because I guess there is another, okay, here. So yeah, now we are ready to close that. Let's close PyCharm for a second, and let's open PyCharm. Okay, PyCharm is opening. Now we should be able to compile the whole project, but I don't want to show you the whole project because I want to show you a new one in which I'm going to show you how to start from scratch. Okay, so let's just click for a second here to just make sure that it's compiling what we had before. So let's just try to run this main document here just to make sure that everything has been installed properly, and then I will show you how to start a new project on your computer. Let's see, we might have a bit of issue here with these sections. As you can see, is installing all the packages. As I mentioned before, is automatically install 46 files because I need an article class. I need some packages for which are included here in these like when I wrote this code, I'm actually using in my preamble here some packages such as color, such as all this one. So MiKTeX is actually installing them for me on my computer. While it's installing all these packages, I just would like to ask you if you could, if you like this type of video, and if you like this video in particular, if you could just press the like button, and if you could subscribe to my channel, because it really helps me in understanding that you like the content that I make, and also it helps this channel with the YouTube algorithm, so more people like you can actually find this video, and if you find it useful, maybe they will also find it useful. So it's installing all these packages. I will just pause the video here for a second and I will be back once all the packages are installed. Okay, fantastic. Sorry, it took a while to install all the packages. In your case, it's going to take probably less time because you're not going to start with a template as I did with this Elsevier template. You're going to start with something simpler as I will show you just right now. And the document was compiled here properly on the right side here. So we have everything. And so let me show you all step by step how you can create a new project in your on your computer. So here we are going to start with new project. Okay, we are going to start with a LaTeX project, and we are going to put it inside our downloads. Okay, we are going to create a new folder, which we're going to call it example YouTube. We're going to create this folder here. So I click on this folder that I just created, and then I press OK. And we say yes, configure with BibTeX support. We click on create, and we are going to create it in a new window. So fantastic. Here we have everything. So it is already organized for us. So we have the main file is inside example YouTube, source, main text, and this we have the auxiliary file and the output file. Okay, so this is all that is needed to start a project. Okay, inside main text here we are going to add some text, so yours also should look something like this, where is a very simple project. We have document class article. I will not go into detail in this because I think you know already how to use LaTeX. If you don't, just check on my channel on YouTube and you will find a lot of videos. And you will find a lot of interesting video anyway, because I will show you, in some videos I show you how to export tables from pandas data frame to LaTeX. So just have a look into my channel and I'm sure you will find something useful over there. But let's go and check what has been created on our computer. So we just need to add a configuration. So this can be done in order to run this file and see something that happens. So first thing that we need to do inside the main text file, we need to add some text here. So we can type hello, and then we can either click here on this green arrow, or we can add the configuration manually. I will show you how to add it manually because that is never is always like the best way of doing it. You can do it automatically, but I just want to show you step by step how to do it manually, so you will always know how to fix any problem if something comes up. Okay, so here in templates we hit the plus button, we go inside LaTeX. Okay, we can say the name, so we're going to call it main. Doesn't have to be called the same way of the file, or let's call it document. Okay, and then here we don't have to change anything, so compiler PDF LaTeX is fine. We are not on Mac, so we don't have to specify that. Select custom path for Sumatra PDF. At the moment we don't need to change, hopefully it's going to be fine. Then we have custom compiler arguments. We don't need to put that, and environmental variables as well. We can add custom compiler arguments if you just want to don't print all the verbose output, but it's something more technical. I will not explain this maybe right now or maybe later. So the main file to compile is the main file that is in our project directory. So we have to go example YouTube, source, main text. Okay, it's always going to be there if you follow all my steps. And then project directory for auxiliary file. There is an error, as you can see. I don't want my auxiliary file go into output, or out folder. So we click here on the folder and we select auxil folder. And for the output file, we are going to select output file or out. Okay, not output, but this is where all the output file will go. Okay, we can click here, always compile at least twice, so everything is going to be fine. And for just at the moment we press OK just to check that everything is working. You should see something appearing here as document. If it doesn't, Ctrl Shift F10 and you should be able to compile the document. Here you can see our document. Hello, and say this is our first document. Okay, fantastic. So You will see that, let's compile this. Now that you have compiled it the first time, you can press only Shift F10 because it's here at the top, so we can see that everything is here, okay? So first, every time you will see some squiggling, like some line under your text, it means that PyCharm is suggesting you something to be changed. And in particular, every time that you have a period, you should go into a new line, okay? If you want to fix that automatically, Alt-Enter, and then you just select the first option, insert feed line, and everything is going to be fine. So as you can see here, the note or the warning has gone. So Shift F10, you will see that nothing has changed because you need to have a double space or a double indent in order to be in a new line. So let's do it, a new line. But again, I will not go into detail about LaTeX. I just want to show you how to work with TeXiFy and PyCharm. So this everything is working fine. Now I just want to show you quickly how to add citation and bibliography. So let's just go over this project here that we were working before, and let's just copy this entry, this BibTeX entry, and we're going to copy it in the new file. So here main bib, of course, is empty at the moment. So we're going to add this new entry, and we are going to have to cite this author. So we go here in main text, and we are going to say new line, and we cite this person. So cite, as you can see, there is PyCharm is suggesting you what to do. And in this case, we have cite, and then we can use this one, the first suggestion, here cite keys, and yes, this is the paper, okay? The Lorentz transformation, so Dirac, and this is the entry in the main bib file. You need to cite like this unique key, okay? But it's automatically done. As you can see here, there is another suggestion that you should have a non-breaking space, and again, Alt Enter or just enter the non-breaking space. We add a period at the end, and then we press Shift F10. And now let's check if it has worked. No, of course it hasn't worked. And why it hasn't worked? Because we are not compiling the bibliography, okay? So let's do that also manually. So I will show you how to do that because I had a couple of issues and I just want to show you how to do it because it's super simple. So you go here at the top, edit configuration. We are going to create another one, but instead of LaTeX this time, is going to be BibTeX. Okay, we have to call it something, so we call it bibliography. Just a name, you can call it whatever you want. And here you have to add two things. So compiler BibTeX, and also you need to specify the main file that includes the bibliography. And here the main file is in source main.text. So this is the file that you need to select, is the file that we are compiling, okay? So the main text file, but here in the working directory, and be very careful here because I had a bit of an issue, you have to select the auxiliary file, or it's not exactly, it depends what you have selected in the auxiliary folder in the configuration of the document. So here in LaTeX document, you need to put the same folder as you put here in the directory for auxiliary file, okay? So as you can see, we have the same file. So let's don't press OK for a second. Let's go back into document. We go back here and extensions. Here, you click here and you add with the plus and you select the bibliography. So what is happening right now? What we are doing? We are compiling the document, then we are compiling the bibliography, sorry, and then we are compiling the document again in order that the citation will exactly appear in our document, okay? So let's do Shift F10, and perfect. Our reference is now here, okay? Then of course you can play with it and you can add the sections and you can have introduction, and so forth, okay? And again, this is very good because it's going to give you a lot of suggestions. So for instance, here is telling you that something is wrong because it wants you that you put a label in the section, okay? So let's just compile, but I will not go through all these things. I will just let you fix all these problems. I will just let you, just show you the main thing, and then you can go over all the things. So yeah, here we just need to put a label. Okay, so I don't know exactly why it's not coming up. Okay, add a label. Okay, so sorry, it was, yeah, add a label, alt enter, and automatically is entering a label. Why is important to add a label? Because then we can reference this section. So let's say hello, I am referencing this section, and then you can add a reference. Okay, so reference, and then you can look, and again you have a smart and like my smart suggestion, and you can reference this. Okay, so let's press Shift F10, and then you will see that we are referring to this section. And if this section changes number, so let's add another one. Sorry, I say that I wouldn't have methodology. Okay, but I just want to show you. Okay. Okay, so Shift F10, now you will see that this section is now section 2, but this has been updated automatically. Okay, and same goes with all the other things, like with figures and so forth. We can reference them in the text, and we also get like if there is a typo. So here there is a typo, Alt Enter, and then we are referring. So let's change that error. Okay, finally we can compile the document again, and here we get the results. If you want to improve the compiling speed here, I've made just another video. I just released another video a few hours ago, but just check on my channel. I will put it down in the description below as well. And there is a video on how to improve the compiling speed here. And if you want to know about the compiling speed before here in the document, you can actually specify some custom compiler arguments. And these custom compiler arguments, in this case, that you can use like, let me just put quiet. If you put quiet, you will see that all this verbose output will go away, which is actually quite nice and quite handy in my opinion, because you don't have all that. Yes, it's going to be less verbose, and then you can also specify to show you the time. Be careful that if you select quiet here, then if there is going to be an error, the error is not going to be displayed. Okay. Actually, let me show you. I just need to grab the code to show you the time. Okay, if you want to also show, if you also want to see the time statistic, so instead of on top of quiet, you have to put dash time dash statistics, all with a space between quiet, and then let's compile again. We will see the time statistic that it took to compile, but just be careful, because if you're going to have an error, okay, so let's just on purpose make a mistake. So Shift F10. Yes, can you see? Because it's quiet, you get that there is an error, but here it wasn't really telling you what the error is. But just go here in console, log messages, and here is telling you what the error is. Is sometimes a little bit difficult, could be, to find out where exactly is the error, but here in this case is simple, because it's actually putting the cursor here and it's telling us that there is an error. As you can see, paragraph ended before, so it's not very clear. But as you can see, also PyCharm is showing us that there is something going on wrong, and there is a red line here. What I actually did intentionally as a mistake, I removed the curly braces. Okay, so basically because you started this command reference, but you didn't close these parentheses, and therefore there was a compiling error. Okay. So these are the other two nice things that I like of this execution time. So you can see how different things are affecting it. And again, check my other video if you want to, because it's going to tell you how to improve the compiling speed. And yes, so this is the main thing. One other thing that I wanted to show you, I mean, of course, if you go here in example YouTube, you can add a new directory. So you can add a new directory, and we call it code. And then inside here, you could have like a new Python file, and you can have like example, and you could start writing your Python code here. Okay, so you have inside here both the code and the source folder, as I showed you in the previous project, like that I had open here. So we had manuscript, data, and code. So here I like to save all my Python code. Here are all the data that I'm actually want to keep a local copy, because I'm data that are processed, and then I have the manuscript. Okay. A couple of other things that I would like to show you, which I think are useful. You can add a git ignore file, okay, inside here. So you can go here, and actually first adding the git ignore file, let's actually enable git, okay? Because I think git is extremely powerful. And why it's powerful? Because it lets us keep track changes of all the things that we have done. So how to enable git? We just have to go here in the terminal. Okay, so we click here at the bottom, terminal, and we do git init. Of course, you need to have git installed inside your in your computer. If you haven't, just go on a browser and just type git. Okay, so just let me show you. Let me bring up the tab. So I just here in Google, you type git, and then you can go download, and then you can download it on Windows. Just look up a guide if you're not feeling comfortable in installing it on your Windows, but it should be pretty straightforward. Okay, and just otherwise you can look up in YouTube. What is the advantage? Because right now we are tracking all the files. Okay, so as you can see, this file here now are red, turn red, before they were white, because now we want to track these files. Okay, I will not go into detail about how to use git into PyCharm, just because I've already done a video. Okay, so we'll put actually you should see a pop-up coming up here if I will remember. Otherwise, just look into my channel, and there is a video on how to use git into PyCharm. Okay, but that is going to be extremely helpful, because it's going to allow you to track all the files. I'm going to do something which is wrong, because I haven't added a git ignore file. Again, please check that file. So I'm going to do git commit right now. So don't do exactly the same thing, because I'm including a lot of files which should not be included. So let's do first commit. Let me show you why, if you're not familiar with Git, why it's so important to have it. Because right now, this was my original file. Let's say that tomorrow I start working again, and I say this is a new section. Okay, so now I wrote a new section, and as you can see, Git is keeping track of all the files that have changed. So we have edited this file, but not this one. So if here I add more text, okay, and let's call it Federico. Yes, you can see that both files are blue, but we don't want to change this one. I just want to show you that the color changes. And then here we have a new section, so we can keep track of all the things that we have done. And if someone is reviewing the file from Overleaf, for instance, and check also my other video of the integration between Git and Overleaf and GitHub, then you can have people remotely making some changes, and then you can sync the changes with Git and GitHub. Okay, so now that we have made this change, Control K, and we're going to commit this change, and we can click here, we can see what we have changed in the file. We're happy with this change, and we say I wrote a new paragraph, a new section, a new text. Okay, Control Enter, I commit this change, and now this color here is gone because I've committed the change. But again, if you want to find out more about Git and how it works, I suggest you to look at my other video on my channel. And another thing that I like to show you, which I think is very nice, are a couple. So here, if I'm now clicking on methodology, is actually already working. Okay, so if it's not working because I enabled it before, so you can go in Tool, LaTeX, Sumatra, and configure inverse search. So if that doesn't work when you click here, so can you see when I'm clicking on methodology, it's sending me to methodology. When I click on introduction, it's moving my cursor introduction. So I think that's also very nice. And you can do the same thing forward in the other direction. You have to press Ctrl Shift Alt period. Okay, so is like, let me just write it here, Control plus Shift plus Alt plus period. So if you press this on your keyboard, in which section you are, so let's actually do that. So here, Control Shift Alt period. Now it is highlighting the text that I've selected here in the document. Extremely helpful when you have a very long document. A couple of other things that I want to mention is that, of course, because I'm sure you're already familiar with PyCharm, you don't need to save, you don't have to press Control Save here because automatically everything is saved. And another thing that I like is the indentation. So already PyCharm is actually fixing this issue. So for us, so as you can see, it's actually very difficult also to mess up the file. But let's say that you have messed up a bit the indentation in the file. Control Alt L is going to fix all the document for you. Okay, so for instance, here I could remove some space, or actually let me cancel this. Okay, so it's a bit messed up, and I can actually fix that. The spaces is not so important. The spaces between these one are not so important. That's why I'm not automatically corrected. But the indentation is not important. The document should compile anyway, but it's not very nice. It's very difficult to keep track of all the things. So Control Alt L is going to keep the indentation, and you can do it after you have written all the document. It's going to work anyway. So a couple of more things. So I think I've covered the majority of the things here, but if you want to find out more, I would suggest you to visit the GitHub page of TeXiFy, and you can find detailed explanation on a lot of things that they have included in their package, and a lot of nice and interesting things. I really like this package, so that's why I created this video, but I think I've covered the majority of the things. One thing that I would like to suggest you is if you're writing a paper with Elsevier article template, if you're writing a paper that you want to submit to Elsevier, just have a look at my video about how to use the Elsevier template, because I believe you're going to find it very useful, and is also going to explain more or less how you can structure your project like I've done here. And as you can see here, I've as I showed you before, in the Python code, I'm specifying exactly the directory where I want to save the figures. So for instance, here I have specifying the figure directory, and I'm using the OS package. With the OS package, I'm specifying the directory, and then here I'm saving the figure inside here manuscript and source figures. Okay, so you can import these figures inside the LaTeX template. Actually, let's do that very quickly because I want to show you how powerful it is. So inside example, we copy this file here, and there is no Python configure for the project. It's good that I show you. So configure Python. Let's use Python 3.8. Automatically is all done. Is keep track with Git. So the file now is blue. The only thing that we need to do is inside source. Here we need to create a new directory. You can call it as you want, but I call it figure. Okay. And actually there is a type, like if I call it figure, I need to change here figure, and we don't have manuscript this time. So let's try to see how everything is working. So let's run these two lines of code, and you can run these two lines of code with Alt Shift E. And let's check what is the current working directory. So yeah, example YouTube, and then we want to save it inside source and figure. So let's try to run this code. Should be working. Now right click here on figure, reload from disk. Now the figure is inside here, example PNG. If you want to add that to Git, Control Alt A, and now the color has turned to green, as you can see. Let's go into main text, and let's include that include graphics. Okay, so we will actually have to add a couple of packages to include the graphic. Just let me pause the video for 1 second and I will be back. Okay, what I needed to do to include a figure, I will just show you because I've done all the things while I was not recording. So first thing here at the top, you need to use package graphics with the X at the end, and here we can add a comment saying package for figures. Okay, then you don't have to add it, but I just like to note down when I included a package what I'm using it for. And then inside here you need to type begin figure, and Here, even TeXiFy can help you. So you can type begin and then figure. Okay, so then we use centering, because to center the figure inside, include graphic, okay, caption and label. Okay, so let's just copy that. And oh, this is also another thing, because can you see the label now there is 2, and it's telling you that it's in error because each figure has to have its own unique label. So let's delete that and let's compile it again. So it should be working. So here everything is fine. It actually also telling you that you shouldn't put the extension. Okay, so Alt Enter to fix all that issues, and now everything is fine. So we have our document, and yeah, I really hope this video helped you. And if you have any question, just please leave your question down in the comment section below. And again, if you can, please consider liking or subscribing to this channel if you found this video useful. Thank you very much for